It's now time for the return of the Spirit of Woodstock 69 radio show with your host, songwriter, record producer, music label executive, manager, co-creator, producer, and promoter of Woodstock 69, Artie Kornfeld.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. That's the Spirit. Same show as that was on Artists First, you know. The separation was because of a problem they had. I'm still close. I still do a political show with Z-Man. And I just want you all to know, you just got to go to spiritofwoodstock69.com and you're here. And we also have a log, you know, and archives that you can go to. By the way, if you missed the Cowsill show last week, you should hear it. It might have been the best show that I did in 5 years. So, you know, check it out. Excited tonight because I was really looking for some good rock and roll, and out of nowhere it comes into my life a band called theShift, and they are really a good rock and roll band, and they've played with huge musicians, everybody from Big Daddy Kane, you know, to a lot of people, John Mayer, Lauryn Hill, Ben Harper, you know, so Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick. So they're known as musicians too. John is incredible. It's a great trio. They have their dreams, and oddly enough, the song I'm gonna put on for you to hear, called Cobra, is the first song. And while that's on, we'll get John, and then John will be with me on the show, and away we go. So enjoy yourself, and just remember, the primary has to take second place for an hour and 20 minutes. It's all fixed anyway. So anyway, time for to do a little dreaming.
Everybody knows your name, so what? I heard it on the southern wind of my soul. Everybody will know my name, know my name. Dreams are calling out my name. It's all. Everybody who knows your name, sold out. Southern winds in my soul. Everybody will know my name. Yo, some lucky
Here we are.
Okay. Hello, everybody. It's Artie Kornfeld. Why do we call it the Spirit of 69? Because there'll never be another Woodstock, but the spirit that was born in Woodstock is still around, even with the millennials. So, it's just getting that spirit of sharing with your neighbors, sharing music, sharing this earth, sharing life. So I'm so happy that I really wanted to have a band that was a really good rock band, and that had been getting a lot of action and worked a lot. And then John Shannon, who's a great guy, came into my world. We wound up talking in a couple of days for probably a half hour at least. And John, welcome to our world.
Artie, man, thanks for having me in your den.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Yeah, right. We're all the other tigers, right?
Yeah, that's right, man.
So
thanks for having me, man.
It's a pleasure being had. Because of a technical difficulty, we did have to go and we played two songs. We played Cobra and Dreams. So I wanted to just go back now and ask you a question. When did the band that exists now, and I know you're doing a new album, who's going to be on that album, and when are you going to be doing it?
Well, first of all, I just want to say, I'm honored to be here with you, man. Thanks for having me in your space. You're a legend. Thanks for looking upon the shift in this light. And then to move on with the question, yeah, man, it's the three of us. We're a trio. It's MJ Lambert on drums, Ben Geis on bass. My name's John Shannon. We're all New York City musicians who met through doing other gigs in New York and came together, had a chemistry, and just recognized that chemistry, moved forward with it. That chemistry, took us in the rock and roll direction. And, this Seventh Direction, which we've been listening to, is a 6-song kind of extended an EP. And, we're just starting work now on our full-length record, doing a little bit of work in L.A., a little bit of work in New Hampshire, and just kind of letting it all come together, man. And it'll be the three of us again, trio.
Well, the word is out on you because people that I talk to, in other different parts of the country,
Yeah.
They do mention when I bring up the name, they say, "Oh, they're a great band."
Oh, that's cool, man.
And you certainly get gigs, and I heard you really good live, and
cool.
It's and the good thing is I got to meet another musician dedicated to getting everybody listening off, because that's how we get off. By getting you off, we get you off, and it also gives us it also, we don't have to steal. Well, sometimes, but we don't have to steal tires from cars and sell them. You know, we could get by. You know, so it's like so the writing.
That's right.
Okay, so the band is. You guys have been together for how long?
It hasn't been that long. We've been touring pretty much nonstop for a year and a half, Artie. And the writing is it's just all, songs inspired by life and nature and mysticism, and we call it the shift because we think music, rock and roll music, has the power to shift your consciousness or shift from here to there. Kind of ties into the Woodstock ideals, of consciousness through music.
You're right, because I'm thinking about, the hit songs I wrote, and that's what the Rain in the Park did. With I Love the Flower Girl, and that's what the Pied Piper did. It actually shifted people who were in a bad head into having hope.
Oh, you definitely did, man. The lyrics of Pied Piper, the lyrics in that, man. In case heaven is found you, can't you see that it's all around you? That's exactly it.
Yeah, you know what? That whole lyric took about 25 minutes to write.
Really?
Yeah. It's a funny story because it was a demo originally. The Changing Times version was a demo, and I was producing someone for Mercury, which I was running at the time. And
right.
Was
that Christmas St. Peter's? Was that Christmas St. Peter's?
That was the one that came out after us, because what happened was we were number one in LA and in about 40 cities, and we were top 30 in the country.
Right.
And Lou Adler, who produced, Rocky Horror Show, Carole King, Cheech and Chong,
Right.
Lou had a friend in England who was a producer, so he would send the top 10 from LA, and he would send the top 10 from pirate radio. And the guy was about to produce this guy, Crispy at St. Peter, and fell in love with the Pied Piper. So all of a sudden, I take a look at the charts, and there's a song that's like number 40 the first week out, and I'm looking around the world, and I'm seeing in France and England, I'm seeing the charts all over the place. And I didn't know that since this was in 1963, that it would still be helping pay the rent,
Well,
so many years later.
It's such a great song.
Well, it was written because of people like you. It was written because of people that are listening to the show. Because they related. Because we all knew that. We all felt there was something not quite right with this country. This is not all brand new in the last 2 years, but it really came to light. And that was the War Baby generation, and I was inspired by like a Rolling Stone and the Sounds of Silence.
Yeah.
So I always wrote stories and message songs.
Absolutely, I could totally relate to that for sure. Message songs, I like that, message songs. Yeah, kind of bringing something through the energy and the power of the sound. It travels farther than just talking.
Yeah, and we're both spiritual, and it's so weird because before I even knew I was going to be able to get you, tonight, I had been saying to Scully and and to Kevin, I really like to have a younger sounding, really kick-ass rock band.
Awesome.
I said I don't want my head blown away, but I want a real rock and roll band.
Yeah, right.
And you write real rock and roll.
Yeah, man. Well, it's what we came up on. It's what I came up on. When I was a very, very young kid, my dad gave me Zeppelin 4. I think I was 6 years old or something. My uncle was turning me on to Iron Butterfly. I was obsessed with Jimmy Page, before I could ride a bike. So
it's so crazy because my first record came out in '58, and by the time Jimmy Page came out, I had already been in the business 13 years.
I know.
It's sort of crazy. I don't feel old because the music keeps me young, and we all have our barriers in life that we have to get through, and we have our up moments. And when we connect musically, and then you connect with the audience, it's a big circle.
It is.
And it's a cosmic circle, and it happens. Music does make that happen.
It is.
So
yeah.
So who came up with the title Consecrate?
Consecrate. I came up with that title. That was a song I had been working on, and it just comes from the lyric. If you want to consecrate, then consecrate the ground. And this song was kind of about the mystery of nobody remembers being born. Who remembers being born? Pretty much nobody.
I remember being born.
Well, there goes my story. No, but
No.
but so most people, don't remember being born. And that's kind of a mysterious thing because you start to contemplate that. You start to think, well, where did this whole experience come from? Did it kind of materialize out of where? Out of nowhere. Just kind of exploring that kind of mystical thought, and also at the same time tying it back into the earth and the mysticism of the earth. If you're going to consecrate, then if you're going to honor something, honor the earth, honor the ground, honor the gravity that pulls you, to the dirt.
Well, that's why I study a lot and I know a lot, because I have part of my family that are Canadian Mohawk.
Okay.
And that's why I concentrate on the beliefs that the Native American Indians had. How there was just one power, and that guided everything.
Exactly.
And if you did the right things would work out.
Exactly. I feel very, very close to the American Indian way and perspective, and really all indigenous peoples. There's a wisdom there.
It fits because I do. John Lennon got me, and when they got back from India, they talked me into going into transcendental meditation. So I've been doing that, and I've also been doing Japanese Buddhist chanting. And it helps me cool myself out when I'm out of control inside.
Yeah, right. There's something to it. There's an intelligence there. There's a map there.
Yeah, so we could all get together and concentrate, contemplate, and then we could actually consecrate.
Sun is spinning. Look down, the river flows around. Look up, the stars are shifting. And if you wanna consecrate the ground. I don't recall the day that I was born. I don't recall the place I was. I'm coming from the moon, stars and the sun. I'm coming from the place I was. I didn't have a name, but I was called. I didn't have a place, but I found one. You're talking to the trees and the ocean waves. You're talking to the place we were. I'm saying that we were. you wanna consecrate the ground.
That's great.
So everybody, this is Artie Kornfeld, and I think we're back on, and I think I'm back live with you, and I think we're sharing the spirit of '69, which I explained is sort of a lot like some political people saying about sharing, and like I was told John, and I've told it before, when people ask me my favorite shot in the Woodstock movie is when they take a bite of the sandwich and they pass it over to someone else. And it's not me on stage, and it's not Santana doing Soul Survivor for the 8,000th time. It's just the fact that we connect, you know, and it makes life. It's like putting that spray, WD-90 or something, like something you can't really move, a door that you can't shut. And this way we get to open the door, you know, and people like you and I get to meet, you know, and all of a sudden, I'm not my age, I'm your age.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
You're giving me everything that you have, so, you know, just naturally, I'm giving you everything I have, but not intentionally. I just really like your music and you.
Oh, well, I'm honored, man. I'm honored. Like I was telling you before, man, I grew up, of course, on a lot of your music, and I also just grew up on Woodstock, you know, and that whole the movie, and listening to the record and the tape and the CD. You know, it just influenced my life in such a big way. So I thank you, man, for all that. You know.
Thank you. You know, everybody out there, I didn't advertise it, I didn't promote it, and it's been out for 5 years and it's still selling. And if you don't get the Pied Piper of Woodstock by Artie Kornfeld from Amazon, you're missing something, because it's not just about Woodstock. It's about all of us music people in the music loop of any age.
Yeah.
And it's not a picture book, and it's about the lives we live. It's those of us who get into battles with drugs and get straight. Those of us who face death in life, you know. And it's about us. It's about all of us. And it was very hard to write, and I never read it because I put too much personal stuff in it that was hard to write about. You know. So you know. So it's like when I listen to music, I seem to go to the place where the music is, and you could take that and write it anywhere, you know, especially, you know, I mean, we all have a favorite. What's your favorite band right now?
Favorite band? That's a hard one, man. There's there's a lot of good stuff out there right now. You know, I definitely dig the group The War on Drugs is cool to me. They have kind of like a Dire Straitsy kind of thing in their own way. You know, there's a group called Twin Shadow that does some interesting stuff. The Alabama Shakes are cool with Blake Mills, the producer, guitar player. He's cool. Yeah, man, a lot of cool stuff.
How about of the more classic rock records going back? What artists, when you were younger, did you listen to that pulled you in? That you would go out and get the download.
Yeah, well, I had some major downloads in my time from in my mind and spirit from, you know, Led Zeppelin, like I mentioned before, just being introduced to them when I was very, very young, and going deep into that whole, you know, the Jimmy Page mysticism of rock and roll thing, I think affected me a lot. And then a little bit later, you know, falling deep into the Grateful Dead. But really just coming, you know, spending time with all of the greats, all the people that that you brought up, man, you know, Neil Young, Richie Havens, Santana.
Yeah, I'm so lucky because you're talking about these people, and I look up to them too, and yet they treat me as an equal, and we're friends, and it's like I'm still looking at them like, wow. Like when I worked with Neil for 3 years, you know, Rockin' in the Free World and All This Month. Right. Every time I was alone with Neil, and Graham has been a friend of mine since '64 when he was in the Hollies. So, but every time I was with Neil, I couldn't believe I was with Neil, even though I was running Neil's companies. I mean, he gave me the trust to run his companies for that year and a half, like
Wow.
2 years, and
Wow.
I gave him his first 2 platinum albums and gold albums, and it meant so much to me, and I didn't even want to get paid, and Neil insisted,
Oh,
and
that's incredible, man.
yeah, because it's like you're backstage at a concert, and all of a sudden Neil and Graham come over and say, "Hey, Artie, let's go into this little room over here and just talk." But you know what they're going to do. So that's when I was totally sober, wouldn't even smoke grass, and so there I was faking doing hits and passing the J.
Nice,
And not
nice
only
one.
that, I was with Graham Nash and Neil Young. I'm saying, what am I doing here?
I heard his story, and maybe you can confirm this or not, or at one of Neil's places at his that he used to he'd listen to mixes out on his lake, and that he'd have one side of the mix coming from like a bunch of speakers at his house and one from his barn, left and right side, and that he'd yell out like "more barn" or like "more house."
Yeah, well,
I don't
Neil's
know.
Neil's one of a kind. He really is. He really is. I think of Springsteen, and Springsteen is great, and this and that. But Neil is one of the icons to me.
Yeah,
one of that group of 20 or 30. Over the last 50 years, that really gave us something that no one else was giving us.
Oh, such a unique sound, and I mean songwriting. I mean, just everything. I actually read his book. What was it? Waging Peace. It was great, man.
The new one?
Yeah. The autobio. Yeah.
Okay, now I haven't read it, but he does say that Artie Kornfeld is the greatest promoter in the history of America.
Yeah, no, he talks about you in there, definitely. Yep.
I know, and I said, I can't believe that I affected Neil that much that he actually, wrote about me in his book. And it was funny because Tommy James' book came out, and I threw out Hanky Panky because it was just laying at roulette when I was running it, and we had nothing to do, so I just threw it out. And so Tommy James' book came out, and all he talked about is how I was his friend and I wouldn't put him in Woodstock. he wrote about that. He wrote about that 4 times,
Wow. Of course.
I was just busy putting the vibe out so people would come in peace, and come to enjoy and come to what happened.
Well, it worked, man. It worked. I loved how there's a clip from the Woodstock movie when you're being interviewed by probably someone from a TV network. They're real straight, and you just keep saying like I mean we, I mean all of us, and you just keep crossing the boundary between you and all of the people at Woodstock as one entity. And it's pretty awesome.
Well, every single person in the crowd, every person that's just getting into it now, and they're 21 because I read about it in the school books, because it's in school books all around the world, and it's just the fact that it's going on. And it's every single person that was on that field, I really believe had as much to do with Woodstock happening as what I did.
Yeah.
The people on the field were partners, and you're a partner because you have the feeling. So it's like one more time, everybody out there, thank you for letting me pay the rent during my life, but also, thank you for all you did to make Woodstock become not a music event, but a historical event. And thank you so much. And when I think about it, sometimes everything falls away.
To be
Now, as everything falls away, we're back into the spirit, and we're back, a bunch of us as friends, enjoying really, to you, what might be new music. Maybe it's not new music to you. This is a good band to follow. This is a good band to embrace because it'll give you rock and roll and with a story and with meaning behind it. So it's it's like it's got my stamp of approval, for sure. Because I enjoy listening to the music. So
thanks, man.
So you already wrote about 13 songs yourself for the next album.
Yeah, we got about I don't know, 13 or 14 or maybe even a couple more just to choose from, and find the ones that move the most air, push the energy in the right way, and bring it down to a 10-song record. But Artie, I got to ask you while I have you here, man. I have so many questions, but one is Woodstock related, and there's two.
You could ask me that stuff.
All right, okay, cool, man. You were just mentioning before you were standing right next to Hendrix when he played the Star Spangled Banner. I don't know, like what was that like in terms of, because I hear stories about Hendrix and that it was like a big part of his thing was just the sheer volume. And I imagine back then, before the big PAs, I mean, what was it that loud and that is, as colorful as we all imagine?
Bill Hamley was the best live sound guy in the world that Michael got, and to tell you the truth, you could almost hear that sound perfect 20 miles away.
Oh, shit.
It was that clear. I just happened to be, if you take a look, you see the guy, because I had been sick for about 3 hours before that. I got sick after working solid for 3 days.
Yeah.
And
okay.
And that's me, standing right to the right of Jimmy with a blanket wrapped around me.
Right.
Because and then right after that, I had to take a helicopter in to do the movie fight. The famous Woodstock movie battle. So it's sort of cool because we're on, and then on the 10th, I have me and Michael Lang on together.
Right.
So that should be sort of cool. And then Leo, the bass player, is on next week from 10 Years After.
Oh yeah, amazing. The 10 Years After in the movie is just killing. It's kind of one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, Alvin Lee was just, that was some performance, boy.
Oh man, that was sick, incredible.
Yeah, he nailed that mother. He really did.
He really did.
He nailed it, So it's like he didn't. Jimmy, the story about Jimmy, it's a lie. It's a myth. It's not the true story.
All right.
At one point at the beginning, Jimmy said, "I'm the highest paid player. I'm the star, and I want to close the show." Mm-hmm. But I had the bass player on. I had the percussionist from the band The Gypsies, who's a friend of mine, and Jerry Martini, and Jimmy wanted to go on at 9:00 when he was scheduled, but Michael fell very behind. Because we didn't have a turntable stage, and there were so many acts.
Right, because of the rain.
And Jimmy and the band, he planned it. He even rented a house, about 20 minutes away from the site, so he could get there just when he felt he'd be right. So at 8:00, he felt like he was almost where he wanted to be. So what he did is they all went over, and then he was ready at 9:00. He was exactly ready to play. And that's why he said to me, the first thing after he played, we were talking on stage, I said, "Jimmy, what did you think?" He said to me, "Average," because he really wanted to play at 9:00. He didn't, he had to
what
wait
time?
until 5:30. So he played 5:30 in the morning on the day after the festival closed.
Oh, that was at 5:30 a.m. Oh shit. Okay.
Right.
Damn.
Right, because by 7:00, by 8:00, I was in a helicopter flying to Manhattan to take care of Woodstock Ventures stuff. That I had to take care of. And Michael stayed up to clean, and then he met me in New York.
Right.
So
right.
So Jimmy was disappointed with his performance, but I'll tell you. The verse that's just coming off the top of his head. It says, the way he did the Star Spangled Banner was just so mind blowing that I was standing there and I was just mesmerized.
Oh man.
You know, it was like I was in the middle of the Battle of Gettysburg or something.
Yeah. Oh man, I can only imagine.
You know, yeah, right. Or I was one of the the Southerners who after the war, formed units and raided Union settlements. You know, in the West when it was being developed. I really get into the Old West here because it tells a lot about us.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, the 1880s and the 1890s, all that was going on there. How the West.
Yeah, incredible stuff to see because it takes you there and it puts things in place. Because everything now, especially since the computer hit and took, it even took our right, to ride the faders, unless you're in the studio that has a 48 track board, to ride the faders and say, I don't want this mechanized. I don't want this to go through chips. I want it to go through a tube mic, right into a tube equalizer, and whatever.
Just catch just catch the electricity, just simply.
And I don't want. I like a studio. I can work in a studio that has Pro Tools, but it also has to have at least a 16-track board.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. We try to work with that as well. There's a studio in New Hampshire called Metronome that we've worked at, and he has a great old SSL board, and then out in LA, a place called the Boulevard has a great old API board, and it's definitely makes a difference. Yeah.
I heard the Boulevard's really good.
Yeah, it was a cool place for sure.
Yeah,
it's a great place. Yeah,
and I had heard about it from a couple other people, because we talked, and could be Brian Wilson or somebody, but or someone that nobody knows, but who would mention that studio because you'd always pass it around.
Yeah, totally.
In case someone's coming in, so everything already fell away, and so far we seem to be in control. everybody. Here we are back at the Spirit of '69, formerly the Spirit of '69 on artistfirst.com, and now here at the Spirit of Woodstock '69. I say '69 because I want no connection with Woodstock 2 and 3. You know, I was against them. They turned out bad. You know, it was, I had nothing to do with them, and that's why I always want to separate, because I only did one Woodstock, and I was smart enough to know, don't even try to do another one, because it was done from powers greater than me. And like I say, I was not the creator. I was just a messenger, you know. And because of my record promotion, I knew how to promote. So it was like the same audience that I grew up with, that I wrote songs for. So everybody was a brother and a sister to me. So it worked out, you know. It just worked out. I had a great weekend, you know, a little scary. Oh, what I was saying about Jimmy, the story out is that Jimmy had insisted that he wanted to close the show.
Right.
And he wanted to go on at 9 o'clock, but he kept getting pushed back another hour and another hour. So he went on at 5:30 the next morning. And
right.
He did not at that point want to be the last act. He wanted to go on at 9 o'clock.
Right.
And it wasn't just me, because when I interviewed, because Buddy Miles is a good friend of mine, and they both said that Jimmy said the same thing. He really wanted to go on at 9 o'clock. So,
yeah, and didn't
if we had him.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say, didn't he? And he passed out or something after that show from exhaustion. I remember reading about that.
Oh, I don't know. I
don't
know. By myself, you know, it was exhaustion, but it was so exciting, and you knew you were part. Everybody there knew they were part of history, but also a part of the human spirit joining together. You know, and to me, it was a big thing that we showed people that we had enough people in our generation that we wanted to end the war in Vietnam. So that was one of the underlying currents that wasn't talked about a lot. But in my advertisements, I certainly slipped in things, you know, in my own sneaky way, because I wanted to keep it non-political. But I was tired of hearing about friends I went to high school with getting killed in Vietnam.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
You know, it was sort of silly. So we're getting pretty close to when the show's going to be history, and then it'll be on the archive, you know, and we can hear it. And that's because we make sure that no matter what we see, that we have a sideways view.
You were nowhere and already gone. We were out searching for something when you got lost in a calling. Stepped into curve lights to turn you on. Do you believe in the things you do? Or do you believe that it's just some sideways view? 'Cause if you believe it, then baby it's true. I get the feeling you want that too. Do you believe in the things you choose? Or do you believe that it's just some sideways view? 'Cause if you believe it, then baby it's true. I get the feeling you want it too. Do you believe in the things you do? Or do you believe that it's just some sideways view? 'Cause if you believe it, then baby it's true. I get the feeling you want it too. Do you believe that it's just a sideways view?
So everybody, there is no ending to this show. This show will keep going on in your mind and in my mind. And I hope you enjoyed it. John, did you have a good time?
I had a great time, Artie. Thank you for having me, man. It's been an honor.
Yeah, so before, and I had a wonderful time. So tell me about where people can get what you have.
Yep.
And when's the next time you're going to be playing? You plan to go tour again?
Sure, man. Yeah, well, again, it's The Shift, and you can find all the information, all the extensions of social media and all that at theshiftofficial.com. And we got a couple of shows coming up in Chicago. We're playing at the Elbow Room on Thursday at 8 o'clock. We're playing in Columbus, Ohio on Friday at Scarlet and Gray Cafe. We'll be in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania on Friday, May 6th at Sarah Street Grill. And we just have a whole bunch of booking going on for the summer. We tour nonstop. We just finished a month-and-a-half straight tour across the states and back. We're road warriors, man, and we're in this to win this and bring new rock and roll, to the world and beyond.
Yeah, that's great. It really is,
Oh man,
I can't wait to see you. I really look forward to seeing you and meeting you.
Oh man,
and your friends, because you make a great unit together.
Oh, thank you, man.
It's like, tell the guys I say thank you. Thank you, guys.
I will.
The guys who play with John.
Oh yeah,
or
great.
Or who John plays with. Either way you want to take it. So it's been a really great night. It's been a really fun show and a really enjoyable show. And thanks for giving me a rock and roll night that was new that I personally needed myself. So this is sort of selfish. Next week, by the way, is Rio Lyons from 10 Years After, who goes pretty much in depth into Alvin Lee and the whole 10 years after. Because, in Europe they were so much bigger than they were here in America. They were huge. So anyway, Leo was the bass player and was a big part of that drum bass Alvin Lee connection that was so important.
Yeah.
For the stuff he said. And as far as the shift goes, I expect to be hearing them for as long as I'm around, and
absolutely, man.
I hope that's a long time still. But whatever it was, I can't say that it hasn't been a trip up to now.
Oh man, Artie, thanks so much, man, for having me. It's been a blast, man.
Thank you so much, and I just saw on what was on my label that producer Bert Summer that he wrote for me and my wife when I got sick at Woodstock, and it's what tonight was all about. And you've heard me play it before because I love it, and I want to thank John, and just remember everybody, hold the light. You got to hold the light, and we are all playing in the same band.
We're all playing in the same band. There's enough guitars for you and me. Stand beside your brother and take his hand. Seems the times are changing finally. We're all playing in the same band. Sing the song together and you'll see. Let them know forever just where you stand. People must be learning finally. And we're all playing in the same band. We're all playing in the same band. We're all playing in the same band. Oh, him, her, you and me, them and those, he and she and we, and we. Him, her, you and me, them and those, he and she and we, and we. We're all playing in the same band. There's enough guitars for you and me. Stand beside your brother and take his hand. Seems the times are changing finally. Whoa, and we're all playing in the same band. We're all playing in the same band. We're all playing in the same
You've been listening to the U-Rock Radio Network. This has been a production of the Spirit of Woodstock 69 in partnership with the Spirit of Woodstock Nation and the U-Rock Radio Network. Next week, Leo Lyons from 10 Years After. Thank you for listening.